Something that haunts me that I cannot unsee is the realization of the paradox that humans represent. They are strange beings, both immensely strong and vulnerably weak. Their bodies are soft, fragile even, yet they are undeniably one of the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy, incredibly difficult to kill. As adults, humans are nearly impossible to defeat, but their infants, on the other hand, are so fragile that they could die without any apparent reason. Born on a death planet, without fur or an egg for protection, humans have life birth due to their physical structure. Human women cannot support an infant without a fully developed cortical structure, which is why humans are born practically blind and utterly helpless. It takes nearly 2 decades for a human brain to fully mature, leaving human children incredibly vulnerable for many years. However, this inherent weakness has led nature to compensate by significantly increasing the protective instincts of human parents. Even more striking is how these protective instincts extend beyond parenthood. Most adult humans, even those without children, have been known to perform extraordinary feats in the name of protecting the young. They've been documented lifting objects more than twice their weight, leaping into freezing water, fighting off large animals, and walking through fire, all for the sake of their offspring. The lengths they will go to are not exaggerated when they say, "If someone hurt my kids, I will destroy them." In fact, in some instances this claim is an understatement. The depth of destruction a human is capable of unleashing when driven by rage over their children is beyond comprehension. The potential for total annihilation lies within every human, waiting to be unleashed should anyone threaten their young. This is something that other species in the galaxy have learned the hard way, often underestimating the sheer ferocity hidden within these seemingly soft creatures. This realization came to a head during an investigation where 3 ships, 1 human, 1 Rundi, and 1 Drev joined forces to investigate a tip. Each crew had at least 1 human, and the human crew had 1 non-human among them. This diverse coalition was unusual for the galaxy, where such cooperation between different species was rarely seen. Among them was Krill, a medical expert, who was added to the team led by Captain Virer due to his experience. As they spread out in a triangular formation to surround the factory, the humans moved swiftly and silently, clearing rooms as they went. The building's layout brought all the teams together in the center, where they discovered a horrifying sight. In a cold, frigid room, stacked from floor to ceiling, were rows of cages, each containing a small, terrified child. The air was thick with fear, and the sight of these helpless children trapped in such conditions unleashed something dark within the humans. Captain Virer was the first to react, his face draining of color before turning a deep shade of red, his hands clenched into fists, and his expression twisted into one of pure, unadulterated rage. The other humans reacted similarly, their faces contorting with anger and hatred. Even the 10-foot-tall Drev commander, a creature known for its strength and stoicism, took a step back, unnerved by the sheer intensity of the humans' emotions. One human woman, upon seeing the children, crushed her plasma rifle in her hands as if it were made of glass, her face a mask of predatory fury. The humans shut the door, but the damage was done. Whispers spread among the team, and soon the humans grew eerily silent, their hands shaking with wrath. Krill watched in fear as these once friendly creatures transformed into beings of death and destruction, driven by a need for vengeance. As the humans moved forward, Krill and the Drev followed at a distance, witnessing a scene of carnage unlike anything they had ever seen. The humans moved with lethal precision, killing their enemies without hesitation. They slit throats, bashed skulls, and tore through flesh with an emotionless efficiency that was terrifying to behold. The Prodigia mob, a group of aliens who had been playing a game when the humans attacked, stood no chance. They were slaughtered with cold, calculated brutality. The humans moved like shadows, their bodies coiled with muscle, their teeth bared like wolves, and their hands twisted into claws. They were relentless, taking blows without flinching and using whatever weapons they could find. The final alien, a massive creature, tried to fight back, but it was no match for the humans' fury. One human woman leaped onto the creature, wrapping her legs around its neck and squeezing with all her might. The creature flailed and thrashed, but she held on, her muscles tightening like a vice. The room grew silent as the other humans stopped to watch, their faces devoid of emotion. Krill tried to intervene, but Captain Virer stopped him, his eyes cold and merciless. The creature's struggles grew weaker, until it finally fell to the ground, lifeless. The human woman did not let go, even after the creature had stopped moving. Only when she was sure it was dead did she release her grip. The humans then turned their attention to the cages, their rage melting away as they freed the terrified children. They smiled and whispered words of comfort, their earlier fury replaced by tenderness and care. Krill, still in shock from what he had witnessed, could do nothing but watch. In the aftermath, Krill learned the gruesome truth: the factory had been a processing plant for human meat, specifically the meat of children. The aliens had harvested these young humans, packaging their flesh for sale to the highest bidder. The error that led to their discovery had cost the aliens their lives, and the humans showed no mercy in exacting their revenge. Despite the Galactic Assembly's investigation, nothing ever came of it. The Rundi and the Drev kept silent, and the humans claimed self-defense. Krill, haunted by what he had seen, kept the memory locked away, always aware of the darkness that lay beneath the surface of his human companions. He knew now that to harm a human child was to sign one's death warrant. The humans would stop at nothing to protect their young, and in their fury, they would unmake anyone who dared to threaten them. Krill couldn't shake the memories that haunted his mind. The image of the humans, once his trusted companions, transformed into vengeful predators, lingered in his thoughts. He had always known humans were protective, but the depth of their fury, the absolute ruthlessness they displayed, was beyond anything he had imagined. They were capable of turning from caring, compassionate beings into cold, efficient killers in an instant if their young were threatened. This revelation made Krill wary, more cautious in his interactions with humans. He observed them more closely, noticing the subtle signs of their protective instincts: the way their eyes would narrow at the slightest hint of danger, the way their bodies tensed when their children were mentioned. It was a reminder of the latent power they held, a power that could be unleashed with devastating force. As time passed, Krill found himself growing increasingly distant from the humans. He couldn't forget what he had seen, couldn't reconcile the two sides of their nature, the loving guardians and the merciless avengers. It was as if a veil had been lifted, revealing the true nature of the species he had once considered allies. He began to question the wisdom of the Galactic Assembly's decision to allow humans to integrate so fully into galactic society. Were they truly as civilized as they appeared, or were they just predators hiding behind a facade of culture and diplomacy? The memory of that factory, the smell of death, and the sight of human children in cages haunted him, a constant reminder of the darkness that lay beneath their surface. Krill's unease grew as he witnessed other incidents where humans displayed their capacity for violence. There were stories of human soldiers who, driven by the need to protect their comrades, had wiped out entire enemy battalions with ruthless efficiency. Tales of human parents who had single-handedly taken down dangerous predators to save their offspring circulated among the non-human communities, spreading fear and admiration in equal measure. The more Krill learned, the more he realized that humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were something entirely different, something to be respected and feared. Their capacity for love was matched only by their capacity for destruction, and that made them both allies and potential threats in equal measure. Krill knew he couldn't share these thoughts openly. The humans were too integral to the Galactic Assembly, their influence too widespread. To speak out against them would be to invite trouble, perhaps even retaliation. So he kept his observations to himself, watching and waiting, always aware of the danger they posed. He couldn't help but feel a deep sense of foreboding whenever he was around them, a nagging fear that one day the humans might turn their fury on him or on others who were not as fortunate as the children in that factory. The memory of the human woman squeezing the life out of that alien, her face twisted in rage, was a constant reminder of the peril that lay just beneath the surface. In the end, Krill understood that the galaxy had underestimated humanity. They had seen them as soft, fragile beings, but they were wrong. Humans were survivors, capable of enduring unimaginable hardships, and they would do whatever it took to protect those they loved. This made them formidable allies, but also terrifying enemies. Krill couldn't predict what the future would hold, but he knew one thing for certain: he would never underestimate a human again. The events in that factory had taught him a lesson he would carry for the rest of his life. Humans were not to be trifled with, for to provoke their wrath was to invite destruction, swift and absolute. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. For every comment that says, we will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.